Hi everyone. There is one thing most people don't even realize, even though they deal with it every single day. You put on some music, doesn't matter when. Evening, before bed, during the day, to focus, or just to chill out a little. And you think you're listening to it. But if you're being honest, no fancy words. Here's the weird thing: you're not listening to it, you're using it. And the difference between listening and using, it kind of flips everything you thought about music. Because at that moment, music stops being art in the usual sense. It becomes a tool, kind of like an environment you're inside of. Just think about how you put on music to fall asleep. You're not sitting there analyzing the harmony, you're not following the melody or catching arrangement details. Nah, the less you notice it, the better it works. And that's a big deal, because here music is doing something totally different. It's not asking for your attention. It doesn't need you to focus or really listen. It's doing something to you, your mood, your breathing, your nervous system. And it does it from the inside, almost without your noticing. So, right here, this is where you get what you could call functional music. Not in some academic way, not like a textbook term, just in the simplest sense. Music that doesn't exist for its own sake, it exists for the effect it creates. If you want to put it as simple and honest as possible, functional music changes your state. It doesn't entertain you, doesn't impress you, doesn't make you go wow. It just changes how you feel, shows you down, calms you, and focuses your attention or focuses it. But either way, its job isn't to be the center of attention. Its job is to work. And that's a huge shift. In the regular model, music is an object, something you point your attention at. In this model, music becomes part of the environment, like the light in the room or the temperature. You don't analyze it, you're just inside it. And here's the thing: this idea isn't new. Actually, it has a very specific starting point, and it's tied to a guy people thought was weird, maybe even eccentric. I'm talking about Erik Satie. He lived in Paris early 90s, and he wrote music that was totally different from the people called serious art back then. It was minimal, calm, nothing flashy. But the main thing, he started asking a question nobody had really asked before. And that question was, do you actually have to listen to music? And right there, he takes a step that's kinda groundbreaking. In 1970s, he comes up with a term that sounds like a joke, but he's dead serious. He calls it furniture music. The name says it all. Furniture is stuff that just sits in a space. It has a function, but it doesn't demand constant attention. You don't stare at the chair every second. You don't analyze your table, but they shape the environment you live in. And Satie says, music can be the same way. It can feel the room, it can hear it, but it doesn't need you to focus on it. In fact, he insisted that while his music was playing, people should talk, move around, do their own thing, not sit in the silence and listen. So, he's consciously talking music out of the spotlight and turning it into just part of the environment. But don't get this wrong. Before Satie, yeah, music got used as background in churches, in court, just around the house. But that was a side effect, not a real concept. Satie is the first guy to actually say it as an idea. He's not just writing music that could be background. He's saying music can and should have a job without trying to be the main event. It's a small difference, but it's huge, because right there, music stops being just art and becomes a tool that does something to you. Now, look at what's happening today. You can see how far this idea has come. That whole ambient industry, music for sleep, music for focus, endless playlists, white noises, rain sounds. That's all just the same idea still going. You're not picking a piece of music anymore. You're picking a state. You're not putting on a track, you're putting on a mode, relaxation, focus, zoning out, recovery. And at that point, music is fully functional, even if you never think about it. And here's a pretty interesting question, way more important than genres or styles. When you say, I like the music, what do you actually mean? Do you like it as a piece of art, or do you like the state it puts you in? Because with functional music, those are two different things. You might not remember a single note, but you keep coming back to it because it works. And that's exactly why I personally think about sound a little differently. For me, it's not really about writing music, it's about creating a state, not making someone listen. The opposite, freeing them from having to listen. Make it so the sound doesn't grab your attention. Instead, it takes off the pressure, clears out the extra thoughts, creates a space where you can just be. That's my personal approach, if you will, my personal touch. Not making music for music's sake, making it as a tool. So next time you put something on before bed or to focus, try asking yourself one simple question. Not, do I like this? But what is this doing to me? Because the most powerful music isn't the stuff you listen to carefully. It's the stuff you barely notice, but it still changes how you feel. And maybe that's the most important kind of all. Thank you. See you soon.